Hi, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Travel Movies. I'm Ramya,
I'm Masin.
and today's episode is about a romantic comedy called Oh My Kadavule. It's a comedy film with Ashok Selvan, Rikita Singh, and cameo appearances from Vijay Sethupathi, Ramesh Tilak, and Gautam Menon. And we've only done movies that have been released before COVID so far.
So movies that managed to somehow make some money from running in the called Arjun, who ends up marrying his one of his best friends, and then the things don't really work out, so they're about to get divorced. He kind of gets another chance of what would have happened if he didn't. If he got to say no to his best friend. And if you actually want to know what happens, you should watch it.
Throughout the film, it's a comedy film, so you
Yeah.
do get it seems like a normal story, a relationship
Very
between two
simple.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a happy film. No, I can't say it's a happy film. It's a genuine film. They are remaking this in Telugu and Hindi. I think the director is actually doing it. No one else is
Yeah.
remaking it for him. Oh, and the scenes of the film, everything was used. Nothing was edited
Cut
out.
out or anything. Yeah. Everything they
exactly.
shot, they ended up using. Yeah. Directed by a newcomer called Ashwat Marimuthu. I think he's done short films before this, but this is his first full feature film. He worked on this script for up to like 5 years. He originally had this idea back in 2013-14, but they thought it was too futuristic. He didn't end up actually making a proper script. He said that the story kind of got inspired from him dating his own best friend, but he didn't get married to her. But
Also, was the one that he was a writer, and I can't even say it's not common because if you think about it, Mani Ratnam doesn't write his films, right? But like Shankar does.
like I remember, when we were younger, but towards the end when it says it'll be like lyrics, not lyrics, a word, screenplay, blah blah
Story.
blah blah
Oh
blah
yeah,
blah
yeah.
by and then but then it I used to think it was always the same person who would do it, and then I found out no, a lot of directors don't actually
Yeah, like
write it.
what
Yeah,
movie? What movie though? Cause the only director I can think of so far is Mani Ratnam. But like when he did like Talabadi or Ravanan, like
yeah.
obviously he didn't write that, but he did write the film as well. Something I noticed was a lot of new directors are coming.
Yep.
Maybe like I can't even say like Lokesh is a new director, but he's seen as a new one.
Yeah,
And then
I don't know if I can say like this, but it's like a new generation.
yeah,
Actors are
and you
coming,
can see
directors, yeah.
yeah, and you can see how like they're taking simple storylines, nothing. It's very easy to understand, very easy to like portray as well, and they're taking it to a whole other level. Like even with this one, they just did one twist, and the movie flipped, and then kanu kolerita one twist. New directors are coming. We're kind of getting to see.
Yeah. And plus, I think it's partly because the audience has kind of changed as well. Like
Yeah,
back then, it was more of let's just go watch a movie because for fun. While now people actually want to watch movies because I guess it's like reading a book. You like see a different story, and
yeah,
it's
you want
more
like
than
good
just
content now.
entertainment. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Also, want to say that when I watched this movie is when I heard that some directors don't write their stories. So I paid a bit more attention to writing. Oh, this seems really good. It's probably because like the idea came from the writing and then the director and like actors made it work. One of the scenes would be the bike trip to Kerala. I thought that was, in a sense, I was just like, whoa, the writing must have for this scene must have been done really well them to pull this out. So it is a set cast. Want to say like 5 to 10 people max, but it's not something you'd pay attention to. When the movie goes on, you'll first get introduced to the characters, and then after a point, you just kind of feel like you know them, so you don't pay attention to each one specifically. And it's not a film where there's too many characters where you can't remember everyone. And I feel like every character in this film was used really well. One of the examples was one of the drivers in the film, but you just think of him as a driver and he comes back as like a whole other person. Not a whole other person, but he says like stuff to Arjun, like, oh, you should follow your passion in life, this and that. And then you get to see his own passion and you didn't think that would be a necessary scene. Even when like that scene came out, why is his driver giving him so much advice?
Yeah.
But then it was like later on, oh, it made sense.
Yeah,
This is why you said that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was like really good. Like nobody was wasted. Everybody kind of had their own background story, and because of that, it was more relatable to people. Oh, and you got to see different perspectives of characters. You got to see his friend's perspective. You got to see the Mira's perspective. And then the boxer's perspective. Selvin plays Arjun. He's a carefree young guy who wants to become an actor. He's a bit impatient. And
Yeah.
then Rikita Singh plays Anu. She's a well-rounded person. She does after tell Arjun that, oh, like my dad gave you the job, my dad gave you this lifestyle and stuff. So I guess she does at one point like points out all the good things she's done, but I think that's normal. MS Bhaskar plays Anu's dad. We have cameos from Vijay Sethupathi, Ramesh Tilak, and Gautam Menon. So another film where Gautam Menon makes a
Yep.
cameo.
You have to always talk about him.
But this one, he didn't act. He didn't get
Yeah.
like major scenes. He just got to be himself.
Yeah, the director of this movie, he is a big Gautam Menon fan. I guess he kind of does give the female characters a not a big like it gives them a strong character, so they aren't super dependent on the guy or whatever. Like in this, you can't really say Anu is dependent on Arjun. It's more like Arjun was dependent on Anu to like a certain
Yeah.
point.
You know, the thing is with like Gautam Menon films, you get to see the girl's side perspectives and everything, but this, you didn't get to see that. He was inspired by it, but he didn't portray it the way that he might have wanted to, or like the way Gautam Menon would have.
Oh, Shava, who's money
Yeah, and he's a friend for both of June
and
and
Anu. Yeah.
Anu, but he's not biased. He doesn't choose one over another. He treats both of them equally and he loves them.
And I think that's partly why he wanted them to stay together because if they did end up splitting up, it would make things worse between those two and them. He wants all three of them to be like happy together, right?
Yeah.
So
Because remember when in one of the scenes where they're all at the bar, Anu is like talking to Matthew and Arjun is talking to Mira, and he's like sitting by himself, just
yeah,
like looking at both of them. I was like, oh, okay, so he's happy for them, but a bit of him would have been happier if they spent more time with each other and him.
yep. So the music is by Leon James, Anirudh's ex-bandmate. I think he did a great job with the music. It does boost the scenes and make it seem more emotional. There's I think two songs that actually play in the movie, Khalid Boma and the friendship song. Obviously, Khalid Boma is amazing because Sichuan sang it. Yeah, the music was really good and the BGM you can listen to it on Spotify, so do check it
There's
out.
a lot of
Yeah.
BGM, so I think there's 30. I agree. The placement of the music, the background music, everything was good. One of my favorites was when they're in court and he starts like confessing. It's already a very touching moment, and then they play like really good music too. And favorite scenes was there. Oh, I actually thought about it. I actually have two. So one is when Anu's dad starts talking about his life and like
Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah.
how he had his passion and how that's changed him as a person. Again, with the whole like he didn't get to play that much throughout the movie. Like yeah, he did like show up and everything, but they showed him in like an annoying light. And then like after this respected him and you saw how Arjun started respecting him as well. My second favorite moment was when Mani was sitting beside Arjun and telling him, oh, like you shouldn't get divorced, this and that. And then Anu walks in and he goes to her and he's like, she's my friend too. I thought that was great.
The MS Bosco one too, and this one as well. I have a favorite dialogue, and that was the one where every time the friend would, why or how do you know this, and then he'd be like, "Unaku sonna puriyadu," and that was funny because he kept saying it, and the friend kept getting annoyed. Yeah, I think other than that, I like the two scenes you said, and overall the movie was not. It's not one of those movies that make you think about life or whatever. It just makes you happy. Like it's
Yeah.
a fun movie to watch. You feel satisfied at the end that you didn't waste time or anything watching a boring movie or whatever.
One of the other things I wanted to talk about was how Vijay Sethupathi came in and did a cameo, and it didn't take up the entire film. Like there was the possibility of the film just being about,
Yeah.
him coming and him helping him. And it could even, when Arjun does certain things, we just say, but these dare saying, no, don't do it, something like that. Or
Yeah.
like even like a genie in the bottle type of thing. But
Yeah.
it wasn't. And it was a good set of time that they cut out just for Vijay Sethupathi. He came, he did his role, and then he went. And it wasn't we were ever wondering, oh, where is he? Like, what's gonna
Yeah.
happen now? It wasn't like that. It's like the story was still had like you paying attention just to the
Yeah.
story that you kind of totally forgot about him.
And even
Like,
like I think when they advertised it, they still advertised it as they didn't say it's a Vijay Sethupathi movie. They kind of made it seem like a movie where Vijay Sethupathi was just a additional. Vijay Sethupathi didn't actually attend, I think, audio launches and like the promotional events because he didn't want to make it seem like his movie. And plus, he wanted the press and the audience to be more focused on the new director and the other cast members and like the other technicians because he kind of knows that he's kind of a big actor now and this movie isn't a big budget movie or whatever, it's a small one, so if he was in it everyone would just concentrate on him. Actually think about that and make sure that the director and like all the other cast members would actually get something out of doing this movie. Because this movie, you don't really think about, whoa, what's happening. It's more like everything kind of goes with the flow too. So you aren't really confused that much at any point. And even if you were
yeah, like,
confused, you don't make it like a big issue. You just ignore it.
yeah, exactly. Like you could have questioned how Vijay Sethupathi came or like what's gonna happen after, but like you just don't
Yeah.
care. It's like I'd rather watch what's happening with Arjun.
Yeah, and it is kind of a fantasy kind of movie. So in fantasy movies, anything can happen. So overall, I would say Oh My Kadavule is really refreshing, fun, fantasy, romantic comedy, town film to watch, and we would recommend everyone to watch it with your families and friends, and you'll definitely have a good time watching it. So for next week, we're going to do Mahanadi, which is a Kirti Suresh movie about Savitri, and it also has Dalkat Salman and Samantha and Vijay Deverakonda in it. Due to overwhelming response from all of you guys, we decided to make an email as well. So please do messages. The email will be in the link and new episode every Monday.